My name is Weston and I'm from Final Order Comics, and today we're going to be talking about pressing. Now I know there's a lot of videos out there about pressing, but this one's a little bit different. We're going to be mainly focused on getting your comics in the best possible shape so you can send it off to get graded. So, we're dealing with a little bit of a higher end press, and also we're going to be using plates, and we're dealing with modern books, primarily Marvel. So with that, here we go. Now, in order to get started, you're going to roughly need to spend around, I'd say about $1,000 to be able to get going. Now, I know that that might be a little bit above your budget, but the majority of that is obviously the press. So if you want to play with, if you want to entertain getting a less expensive press, then obviously that price will come down. But you still need to purchase these supplies. And if you see this list here, you're going to need to get some steel plates, magazine backing, parchment paper, 110 and 65-pound cardstock, and you're going to need gloves. Those are the essentials. Now, beyond that, you can also purchase some other items that are not as essential, but definitely will help you with getting your pressing done. If you're looking to get high volume, and we're talking about 20, 30, 40, 50 books a day, you're going to need to buy a shelf, obviously more metal plates, a paper tray to organize all of your inserts, and also maybe a paper cutter so that you can size your paper that you buy, because they'll all come in different sizes. Some people may purchase a heat gun in order to just make sure that to check the pressure, the heat is correct. And then lastly, you may be interested in getting a battery pack just so that you can keep your electricity stable and you're not going to somehow end up burning down the house. Hey guys, and so with the magic of editing, we've gotten everything all set up here. Obviously the first thing we should talk about is the press. This is an HPN Signature Pro 15 by 12. This is my choice of press. I've only had 2 presses, so I haven't had a huge range of presses, but I love this one and I would recommend this to everybody. This press here is made by Heat Press Nation. Originally, when I first started looking into pressing, I watched a lot of videos and I read a bunch of stuff on the internet. And of course, I went off to Amazon, eBay to see what I could buy. And unfortunately, I just wasn't really impressed with the selection. The machines, they all looked rather cheaply made. Obviously there wasn't going to be much customer support because they all looked like, they're all being sent from China. I just was not really impressed with the selections, and the customer reviews were really all over the place. So I kept looking around and I found this company called Heat Press Nation. And so that's where I ended up buying from. Why? Well, for number one, they have fantastic customer service. If you call them, during business hours, obviously, someone will answer the phone relatively fast. And all those people, they're very knowledgeable about these products. So if you have any questions or concerns, they can help you. The first press I bought from them was a clamshell press. And it was an entry-level clamshell press. It was a 15 by 15, which is why I have 15 by 15 plates. And the problem with that machine, unfortunately, was that with the 1/8 thickness times 2, and then the books and all the different papers, it didn't fit in the clamshell, unfortunately. And so I wasn't able to use it at all because I really wanted to use the plates. I called up customer service, they confirmed. So I packed it back up, returned it, no problems. And then I ordered this machine instead, and I love it. Now the main reason why I purchased this machine is because it's a swing away. And with the swing away style, the thickness of the plates and all that stuff, as you can see, plenty of room, so it's not an issue. So if you are going to be using plates, I don't know if there are clamshell presses out there that can accommodate the thickness, but I would recommend just not rolling the dice on that and just getting the swing away, because you're not going to have any problems. All right, so now getting back to the press, there's 2 different models of this press. There's a Pro and a Signature. The main difference between the 2 is this little device up here, and this is called their SurePress feature. And what it is that it's basically a little odometer looking device that allows you to kind of record the amount of pressure that you're putting on the your press when you're actually pressing. This becomes super important when you're pressing different types of books. For example, the average comic book is probably, I think, around, what is it, about 18 pages, 18, 20 pages. So that's gonna have one setting. And then if you start to press, annuals or double-size issues, you're gonna need to change the pressure, because if you put too much pressure on the press, it can damage the books. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But this here feature, for especially those that are starting out, is extremely helpful, because it really gives you an understanding of where you are in terms of the amount of pressure you're putting on your books. The truth of the matter is that after you've been pressing for a while, you'll get really familiar with your press, and you can sort of just kind of feel by pushing down on the handle, like whether or not the pressure is too high or too low. But in the beginning, until you're not going to really understand, you're not going to really have that sort of familiarity. So for those of you that are starting out, I would definitely recommend this feature. It's only about a $30 difference between the SurePress and the non-SurePress press. Everything else is the same. Now, after I discovered this SurePress feature, which I obviously am very impressed with, I decided to see if there were any other manufacturers out there that also carried something similar. And you know what? Lo and behold, there isn't anybody else. So what that means is that actually in the world of presses, all the different presses out there, there's only one machine, a 15 by 12, that has this feature. So it kind of narrows things down for you guys in case you guys are wondering what you guys should get. The first thing you're going to need to buy is a steel plate, or steel plates, should I say, because you're going to need 2 of them. I got these off of eBay. I think they're around $30 a piece for shipping. And as you can see here, I've scored them so that you can see where the center is. The next item that you're going to be needing to purchase is this backing boards, because this is your first layer of paper between your books. And I've made this sort of shield here by using 2 pieces. It allows me to know where the center is. And the importance of the center is actually so you can know where you are in placing the books. This size of press will accommodate 2 books. And so you really need to be pressing 2 books at a time. The next item is your parchment paper, or it's called silicone release paper, SRP. And these supplies are all available through links off my website, and there's a link to my website below. And the reality is that this is pretty generic. You can probably buy this at the dollar store or wherever you find like just baking sheets. The most important thing is that you really don't want any kind of like roughness. This one here is very, very smooth. And because the reason why is because that sort of texture, if it has a texture on it, will transfer over onto your books, because this is what is going to be touching your book. If you're interested in pressing a lot of books, let me share with you a technique that I know. The trick is, obviously, it is dependent upon how many plates you buy. But if you buy this shelf or something similar to that, you can transfer the plates from the press over to the shelf. That frees up the press to continue pressing more books. All the videos that I've seen on pressing, the books are left in the press. And obviously there's nothing wrong with that, but the problem is that you can't use the press then. So by using these plates, it frees up the press and allows you to continue pressing over and over again. So we're slowly starting to wrap up this video here. Again, this video is really about getting set up for pressing. There's going to be another video that will discuss the actual setting up of the books and the actual process of pressing. There's a link at the bottom that you can check out my website that has a page where you can, more links to all the different items that you may want to purchase. And if you have any questions at all about what we've talked about, please write them in the comments and I'll be happy to answer them for you. Thanks for watching.